I'm gonna call this video the wrap up, as I've been spending all year collecting this information to you guys to be able to share with you guys what's going on here in Raleigh, what is even being planned to be implemented. I want to be able to inform you guys also, you guys are fully aware of what is going on, and just so you guys know that the growth in Raleigh here is not slowing down anytime soon. So this video is going to be able to help you share some light on what exactly is going to occur, to see if this is something that you even want to be a part of. Now, if you're new to me and this YouTube channel, we talk about everything you need to know about Raleigh, North Carolina. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out on anything. But also, I am a licensed realtor here, so if you are looking to relocate here to the area, just reach out. But first off, let's go ahead and check out where does Raleigh currently stand, and let's go see what it looks like now in comparison to what it could be with all the developments and everything that is taking place. Here I'm on area vibes, and I think it's important for us to understand first, the past of Raleigh, so that we can make that comparison and understand why the future is so important to Raleigh. But I just wanted to share this with you guys because I do get a lot of reach outs and a lot of conversations about, hey, what's the best area? And honestly, this is going to all be based off of your lifestyle. So I think this here does a great job with breaking it down, showing you guys different sort of how it's even broken down in terms of section, right? You have East Raleigh, you have Northwest, you have North Raleigh. So it does that, and it even ranks it to the point where you can kind of see based off of one area in comparison to another. But this is going to tell you what's going on right now, right? This is the full picture of what is going on now. However, I want to take it to this here. I came across this tool here which showed us specifically the population growth. So you can kind of see Raleigh has always been constantly growing over the past, we can't say decade or so, over the past since 1990 to 2015. You could see that here it's been consistently growing. Now, I only share all of this because, like I mentioned, this is an area that is going to be constantly forever changing, and it's an area where what we see here today may not even be here later. You can see how the data really changes right in front of us, right, with all the green, everything all around us. This is really showing you how the population growth is really changing, to the point where Raleigh skyline is no longer, especially the downtown Raleigh skyline, is not going to be it's not going to look the same at all. I don't even think a lot of people are going to be able to recognize it, and I'll show you guys that later in this video. But I really want you guys to understand that the development and at least the focus that's going into Raleigh right now in comparison to other cities, it's none like any other, at least within the triangle in itself. Raleigh has all the eyes, the attention, the new rises, the high rise, that's the new rises, the hotels, the apartments, for obvious reasons. It's the capital. It's where a lot of the businesses are going to be doing business at. It's where a lot of people are going to be traveling to. So it makes perfect sense why that is one of those places. And just to name a few places right now that is kind of already developed that isn't getting all the attention, it's your Cary, it's your Apex, your Morrisville, your Holly Springs. Like, those are areas that have already been extremely well developed. So there isn't a need. If anything, if there is ever going to be any sort of like changes or reconstruction going on, it's going to be for improvement purposes, not to redevelop the way that they're doing here in Raleigh. However, on the other end, for those areas that may need more, it's your Knightdale, your Garner, your Roseville, Wendell, your Fuquay Varina, right? Those are areas where I could see maybe towards later down the line when Raleigh gets completely all done, said and done, maybe that's when they go and extend that arm out there and start to do some things out there. But for now, all the focus is on Raleigh. In fact, one of Raleigh's projects in South Raleigh has actually recently been paused, and I was actually looking forward to that entire project in itself. I'm sure it's still going to happen, but of course now there's a pause. It's going to be delayed. I was looking forward to it because that's the last area I will say that hasn't really been touched in Raleigh that probably needs development. So to see that the projects are being stalled there for whatever reason, that just shows that a lot is going on right now, and I'll explain why it may have been paused a little bit later in this video. But if you haven't already, I actually did a video about 3 major projects and developments that I'm looking forward to, because this video is here going to be primarily sharing you guys with everything that's going on. But those 3 that I did in the previous video, go check that out if you want specific and you want to see the area in itself. Now, if you have any questions or you're even concerned and just want a little bit of more information about a specific area or what's going on, how is this going to be in comparison to maybe what you're looking for, that number that you do see popping up right there, make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, email, day or night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. Always remember one thing: I got your back in this market. But let's get back into the future of Raleigh for 2024 and onward. Well, first off, you guys can see here that in 2024, Raleigh and Durham, at least the Raleigh-Durham area, which includes Chapel Hill as well, has been named as one of the best places to retire in, which is a phenomenal thing. A lot of people leave and come to Raleigh for several different reasons. So to see that they're giving this accolade, I guess I should call it, to Raleigh, it just really shows you, you know, Raleigh is still on the map. A lot of people are still has their eyes and attention on this area because there's a lot going on here. I mean, I'll share with you guys the state of the market, and I'll go here to what we used to call Twitter, but it's gonna be X now. And this right here is what I was referencing earlier in this video when I said the skyline of Raleigh is changing entirely. Just look at this, guys. Anything you see in blue has already been completed since 2015. Anything in that yellowish color looking type that you guys can see, it's currently being worked on. And anything that is in that red has been planned or either proposed. And you guys can take even a look at it in itself. This is, just look at just these three right here. They're probably going to be just as high as this. And there's only 3 buildings right now in downtown Raleigh that at least are the tallest. I think it's like 30 something floors. One of them might be 29. And these 3 right here just look just as large as this. So this is why I share with you guys the downtown, just the skyline of Raleigh is changing in itself, and it doesn't stop there. If you guys want to check this out, this is something that you guys all have access to. This is something that they do every year. I highly encourage you guys to look into this if you're really curious about what does the downtown area of Raleigh, or at least not even just the downtown, but what do they have to say about the area in itself. Because if I take a look at this in itself, and I go through this report, I want to share with you guys specifically this one page that was talking a little bit more about what I think is interesting. Of course, I've already shown you guys this. But if we go to the population, I think that's exactly what I want to show you guys so you guys can see. And I don't know if you guys can see, I'll zoom in if you guys can't. Hopefully that works out for you guys. Anything that you see in the dark. And there we go. The computer's moving a little bit slow today. So you guys can see population is growing. They're not slowing down. This is exactly why you guys are seeing or even hearing, or maybe it's on the news, of so many new development areas that is going on here. It's because of this reason. They're getting so much growth. I mean, it's if you look at it since 2010, I'm not going to even try to explain this because it's outrageous. And this is kind of almost what we looked at a little bit earlier. But I don't want to spend too much time on this because, again, you guys can go ahead and take a look at it. You guys can even see, if I go back a page, you guys can obviously see some of the things that was worked on. Again, understanding what it looked like in the past in comparison to what it is going to be today or even in the future. Because there's even a plan for downtown Raleigh 2025. You're probably all wondering, how do you know all this stuff? It's stuff that's already available to all of us. You just got to take that time and look into it. But if you don't want to, this is why you got me. So I got your back in that one, right? And so we can go ahead and take a look at more of the state of the downtown in terms of what everyone is really saying on it. I'm not going to really touch upon it too much because I don't see the importance as of why I pretty much already shared some of it with you already. Here, if you don't like to look at those reports, you want something a little bit more simplified, you want something that's going to share with you the immediate, here is the website that's going to share with you guys. And I'll have all of this in the description below, but you can just look at the downtown. And this is only specifically towards the downtown area. That's where all the development is really taking place at the moment, to obviously catch up and keep up with everything that's going on. But this list it's an entire list of everything. So obviously this is what's been completed, and it's the same kind of concept that they have here. So anything that's been done before 2015 is on this list. So for those individuals that may be concerned about yourself and just where the Raleigh is going, and just, you know, do they have your back? You know, and when I say that, it's, you know, affordable housing, it's a conversation that is had. And they're having it. It's something I see it in the news here and there. It's not as frequently as I see all the big proposals or developments going on. So that's something to keep in mind. I share that with you because if we go ahead and take a look over here, you guys can see there are new apartments for affordable housing. However, it's just not nearly as much, I will say, to be very transparent with you all. It's not as much as what is going on in terms of, if we just look at one of the downtown buildings that probably has 12 floors of, you know, just maybe it's a mixed use or maybe it's just pure apartments. But that just kind of gives you perspective, and I want to share that because again, sometimes I do get reach outs of individuals looking for something more affordable. It's a conversation, but is it? I would, in my personal opinion, is it a priority? That's kind of how I look at it, and based off of this number here, 144 apartment units. I mean, that just sounds like one floor to me. I hope this is just the start, but I don't know exactly where it's going to end. I can only share with you guys what I come across as I'm trying to give you guys all the information possible to help you guys understand what the future of Raleigh looks like. This is one of them. And then we could go ahead and take another step to Village District. So, guys, I'm going to keep loading you with information and keep giving you guys this stuff because I've been collecting this information all year. Everything that I've saw that I was like, okay, my people need to know this because it's important for them to understand what's going on here, especially if you're not here. Oh yeah, I got you covered here. But this is Village District. It's just really talking about their what can I really call this? It's like I'm losing it right now. I would say like maybe like their outdoor mall area where they have shops, they have restaurants, places. It's like a cafe area. It's places that you can essentially go to just to go hang out, in my opinion. And they're going to be adding more. So this, is not too crazy in my opinion. I would hope that they're adding more things, which is great, but not something I would say that's going to be changing anything dramatically. So let's transition really quickly and go over to one of the key indicators of how is this area even developing. Why is it even developing? And let's go to RDU Airport so you guys can see what's going on there, because typically whatever goes on in RDU is going to have an impact on every other area. And there you have it. I mean, RDU being an international airport, it's now traveling internationally to many different areas. Here is Germany for you guys. The next one is, oh come on, you didn't even load for me, jeez. But the next one is Mexico City. And so this is a good indicator for me, at least. All right, this is what I use to help myself understand what's going on in the area, right? If RDU is expanding into different areas, then there's a likelihood that there's going to be a lot of international travel, which of course is a good sign. Maybe it's for tourist reasons. Maybe just individuals who are looking to relocate. There's so many different things. We have travelers who are looking to go to Iceland. Wow. And so there's just so much that's going on here. Is again, this is not international, right? But it's a new airline. And so a lot of the even newer airlines have been even coming to the area. And this is a constant thing, right? If you guys want, you guys can use all the resources that I'm sharing with you guys here today to even look yourself, because this is exactly how I keep up with everything. Of course I have additional resources, but this is an easy free resource that you guys can all use. Now if you guys are curious about anything, you don't want to do the research yourself, of course that number that you do see popping up right there, make sure to give me a call, shoot me text, email, day, night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. Always remember one thing, I got your back in this market. But it's important for us to get to this next one, which is talking about Interstate 540. And the reason why I say that is because, yes, of course, it is a toll road, but I think the most important piece is they're almost done with it. Almost. All right, and I say almost, and I'm going to emphasize that one more time and say almost, because where they're at right now, I'm going to show you based off of this map, they're pretty much going to be working on this part. And this part is essentially going to be done in 2024. So there's one more phase that has to get done, which is going to be right over here. And I'll go ahead and be able to share with you guys that. But you guys can see, final phase to complete 540 is beginning. And again, there's still one more phase that has to be done in order for it to be entirely done. I think if I'm not mistaken, I didn't read wrong. They're anticipating this entire 540 project to be done in 2028. But as far as this loop right here, should be done, hopefully, if nothing delays it, by 2024. And then we'll have the end piece by 2028. So if you're thinking about moving to Raleigh, North Carolina, you don't want to be near any sort of interstate, that's imperative for you to share that information with me, because right now, if you look at the map in itself, the end of 540, the last phase of it, doesn't even show up on the map. And you won't know this unless if somebody's sharing with you or you do your own due diligence. So it's important for you guys to share that with me, because then I know exactly where to help you guide and look in terms of which area may not be best fit for you and what you're looking for. But if you're a visual person like myself, here it is. You guys can see right here the end part. And so this is what I was saying in terms of the phase 3 that they're kind of in right now will be done in 2024. And then of course this is the wrap up essentially, which 2028, which maybe, if based off of what I can see, I think it might be done a little bit earlier than what they anticipated, or they just did not update this and left me here to read incorrect information. But here's another visual for you guys. So as you guys can see, this is what they're pretty much working on right now. And then of course this is future, which is what I stated a little bit earlier. But it doesn't end there. Of course, towards the end, I'll share with you guys a resource to help you guys keep up with a lot of the information that I even get or even that I see, and just be able to share with you guys so you guys don't have to always wait for me. Of course, if you guys want to leave it all up to me, that is perfectly fine. But I'll go ahead and share that with you guys, so make sure to stay tuned, because now we're going to speak about a little bit about the entertainment. I know that's always been a conversation in terms of it's a lack in this area. It's something that doesn't really happen. Raleigh's trying. I mean, Raleigh gets beat by Charlotte every single time there's any sort of mention of a sports franchise coming to this area. You can see here, the baseball team that I guess they wanted to expand, and Charlotte is now on the list. Raleigh is maybe considered, but honestly speaking, I really don't see Raleigh winning that bid or even getting that opportunity, simply because they recently lost themselves on a soccer franchise team. A soccer team being a franchise here. The only big hope that I will say in terms of sports here, on the bright side of things, right? Sports betting. So that's something that's happened earlier in the year. I don't know if you guys have really been keeping up with that particular information. However, on the bright side, as you can see here, sports betting is still going to be a thing here. And of course, when you have a professional hockey team, that's still sort of advantageous towards Raleigh, right? So, of course, it doesn't end there. And of course, it doesn't end there, because again, as this gets ready to load up, hopefully it loads up anytime soon here, PNC. And I mentioned that they're going to be, I'm going to shoot myself in this foot because this doesn't want to load right now, but they're going to be doing, there we go, they're going to be they're going to be expanding the area in itself. So that just tells you, if they're expanding one of the largest arenas in the area, what does that really mean? More people, that means more probably sporting events, more events in general. This is going to be a really big thing, especially it's going to be more acts. So a lot of the conversation is always, there's not enough entertainment. Well, hey, here you got it. They're expanding the arena. So that means a lot more money to be made for those individuals who are coming here. So at least the acts, right? Not so much of the people who will be attending. At least it's more, joy for us who will be attending these events. But there you have it. So there's a lot that is going on here. It's a lot to take in, I'm sure. But this is the information I've been collecting all throughout the year. And I think the one that honestly changes this entire dynamic of Raleigh is about to come up right now. This is recent news. This is news that if you haven't seen it already, because it's been the talk of the town for the past couple of weeks, I mean, everybody was talking about this. Some people were happy, some people were angry. I mean, you feel how you want to feel about it, but this right here, I think, is game changer. I didn't even expect this to happen, but enough of me talking, right? Let's go really figure out what it is I'm speaking about. So yeah, you're reading this correctly. Disney has recently announced that they will be putting their footprint down here in North Carolina. Now, it's not going to be the amusement park, at least just quite yet. I think they're just probably planning something, so maybe this is like how they get their feel of if they need to do that. But it's just going to be essentially a community, a residential place where you can go ahead and live. I think they have something like this already in Florida, which again, I think it's going to be one of those things where you're going to need deep pockets for it. So if you have deep pockets and you want to do this, go ahead, enjoy. This isn't going to be in Pittsburgh though, so it's going to be ways out of Raleigh. In fact, I'll actually show you guys the map in terms of where it would be. So you're looking at over here in this area, which is, you're roughly about 30 to 40 minutes to Raleigh in itself. So if you're okay with that travel, this is something that you could really look forward to. But I will say a lot of people aren't, just because again, there's consequences that do come with something like this, and it's just going to be an expansion of Chatham Park, which is also in that Pittsburgh area. So again, a lot of expansion. Another one that I'm looking forward to specifically. This one's for the people who, as you guys know, I really bashed the public transportation system a lot. So this here is showing you guys there's progress that is being made. This is going to be at least their transit system. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but based off of what I've seen, is going to be to help individuals just get in and out of Raleigh a little bit more effective. It's not going to be like your downtown bus Raleigh system. In fact, it's going to be more getting you in and out of specific areas. And as you guys know, if you guys watched a previous video of mine, you guys can see that there was even more development when it comes to this in itself, when it comes to public transportation. But it doesn't even end with the buses specifically. As you guys can see, it kind of beat me to the gun here talking about Richmond, Virginia, because there is also conversation about Amtrak, which we will get to here shortly. But that's that for you. Not going to speak too much about it because, again, I'm just here to share with you guys that, yes, there is a conversation and there is development when it comes to the bus systems here. But this is really what I wanted to talk about. The Amtrak. As I mentioned, it kind of beat the gun there with me. There's even conversation about expanding and working on the Amtrak that does go to Virginia. So now we're talking going state to state. So if you get bored in Raleigh, here's an easy way to get to a different state and don't have to drive. I mean, whew, that's a big one. That's a big relief, at least off of my shoulders. And now let's go ahead and move on to Dorothea Dix Park. Now, I've mentioned that name before, so if you guys watch my videos in the past, you know exactly what may be coming. I'm not going to specifically talk about the things that we discussed already, but more or less what else is actually happening there to show you what type of investments from major companies or even the locals or even the government officials that are actually working on trying to make this place what they're anticipating it to be. As you guys can see, it states really clearly that new growth is on the way when it comes to Dorothea Dix Park. Now, again, I've mentioned this before, so we'll really briefly go through it. If you want details, you want kind of a visual of it, I got you covered. But Gibson Play Park, of course, they're going to be working on. That's something we already discussed. And again, it's just land that they're going to add. They have an entire master plan to the point where I saw this. I don't know the validity of this, but I mean, it would be pretty cool to see that, you know, the Wi-Fi being enabled at the park in itself. So this is something that, and again, you guys can see who's actually behind this. Google. I mean, that's a powerhouse right there if you guys don't know. And then this is just an idea, but let's just say this actually happened because there's conversations about it. I don't know if this is really going to take place, but they're actually talking about having bridges connect to certain areas in Raleigh so that people can walk from Dorothea Dix Park to maybe even get to downtown without having to go through, like, I guess, the sidewalks of pedestrian the way that I guess a normal person would do it. So they're even putting these things in place. So this is something that did pop up. Now, I don't think this is just quite yet in the conversation. I just want to share with you guys where their minds and where everybody's trying to think when it comes to the future of Raleigh. How do we enable everybody to enjoy it? Because they essentially want Dorothea Dix Parks to be like the Central Park, right? So if you guys been to Central Park, you kind of get a feel of that. So think about Dorothea Dix Park being Central Park just in North Carolina. And as I mentioned, I've already went through all of this in terms of Dorothea Dix Park and just shared with you guys that. So if you're curious, you want more information, you want to see exactly what Dorothea Dix Park and what we would discuss, go ahead and check out that old video I did when I talked about the 3 massive developments coming to North Carolina. However, I am sure there's a ton more of new developments and things that are going on that has been proposed or talked about that I just either completely missed or I just didn't care to share with you guys because I didn't see the importance of it. So I don't want you guys to think that that's the only thing that's going on because there's a lot more. But since you stayed to this point, that just shows with me that you're really interested in the future of Raleigh and you actually want to have some sort of, I guess, opinion or even put your foot down on the floor, on the ground where you guys can have an input. So I'm going to share with you guys where you can go ahead and do that. I'll leave it in the description as well below, but you're going to want to stay around to see the next thing that I have following it because this is going to maybe make everything a lot more clearer for you guys. So as I mentioned, here's a place where you guys can go ahead and put your input. All right, this is a good way that I keep track of what's going on in terms of projects as well. So if you guys ever want to put your input on something you like, you dislike, or whatever the case may be, this is a great place to do so. But like I said, there's something here that's going to make everything make sense for you guys. And it's this exact project here. This is what you call North Carolina core. So yes, we're talking here about the future of Raleigh, but this here talks about the future of North Carolina. It of course leaves out Charlotte, because again, Charlotte is pretty much developed and they got their own thing going on there. But this is an area, I mean, we're talking an hour and a half both ways going north or south of Raleigh in itself. of where they're really focused in on and where they want their attention to go to and where they want the companies to really put their seeds to be able to provide for those individuals that will be here. This sums it all up for you guys. I mean, this is the blueprint. But let me know in the comments below, how are you feeling now that I shared that with you guys? How are you feeling about the future of Raleigh? Is it a positive? Is it negative? Are you more excited? Are you less excited? Let's hear it in the comments below. Because just as much as I enjoy making these videos for you guys, my name is Roney Polynice and I am a licensed realtor here. So if you guys have any questions or even looking to relocate here, you see that number that is popping up right there? Make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, email, day or night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. Always remember one thing. I got your back in this market.